Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. So, as you can tell, we're feeling very festive today because it is officially the season. And I have nails again. They're only press ons, but I feel like myself again. So, today I thought we could celebrate a little bit. So, in today's reading, we're taking a look at some gifts that the universe has for you this holiday season, whether you celebrate it or not. It doesn't matter. The universe just has gifts for you and you're gonna take it. Or maybe not. We'll see. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. We're going to take a look at what this gift is from the universe, how it's going to change your life, and also just some general advice to carry you through the holidays, because sometimes it can be not so fun. So as always, I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. For pile 1, we have a sodalite crystal. For pile 2, we have a clear quartz tower. And for pile number 3, we have a lapis lazuli tower. So, as always, timestamps are going to be in the video description. I'll give you guys some time with these 3 piles to see which ones you resonate with, and all the timestamps, as always, are in the video description. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season to look forward to. And if you enjoy this video, if it resonates, remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And without much further ado, I'll see you at your reading. Pile number 1, hello. So if you guys chose the sodalite crystal, welcome. This is the gift that the universe wants to give you this holiday season. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. These cards here will give us an overview of the energy you're in right now before this gift comes into your life. So this is a great way to make sure you've picked the right pile. These cards here will tell us what this gift is that the universe so eagerly wants to give you. But these cards here will take a look at how you can accept this gift really quickly into your life and integrate it into your being seamlessly. These cards here will tell us anything that may block this gift from coming in. So you know kind of what sort of energies to avoid in order to bring this in. And then finally here we'll take a look at your energy once this has come in. And then with these oracle cards here, we'll take a look at any extra advice that the universe has for you this holiday season. So without much further ado, let's dive in. What energy are you in right now before this gift comes in? To start, we have the world in reverse, and that is clarified by the 2 of Swords. Okay, lots of indecision right now. Pile 1. I should say, when I was shuffling your cards wanted to jump around a lot, and it was very chaotic feeling. So the other thing I felt when shuffling was brain fog. So you might be in a moment right now where your brain isn't really telling you with clarity exactly how things are going to play out. You might be used to having sort of claircognizant thoughts, as in prophetic thoughts. And for some reason, that's not working right now. And it could be all the retrogrades that have left a bit of, energetic imprint on you right now, or it could just be the state that you're in at the moment. But with the world in reverse and the 2 of Swords, it kind of feels like there's a cycle that you are so close to finishing, but it's not quite over yet, and you don't really know how you can close the cycle out. You don't know what to do. You don't know what steps to take in order to see this through so that you can move on to the next thing. And with the 2 of Swords here, you're trying so... Oh, that was a loud honk. You're trying so hard to tap into your intuition, to tap into your inner sense of just knowing. Because like I said, you might have a lot of prophetic tendencies, but for whatever reason, that prophecy is not coming to you as easily right now. So for your archetype, we have the stone. I'm not necessarily looking for reversals with this deck, but we'll keep in mind that it was in reverse. So this is card number 67. Oh my goodness, there's a Gen Z somewhere that's going crazy about that right now. 67. Okay. Let's see. The stone, the eternal, the anchor, the rock. As an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of permanence, concreteness, and reliability. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. When this card appears, it is likely the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of our world. When light, steadfast, loyal, committed, present. When dark, which is in reverse, weighted down, holding back, cold. So, so it feels like I am actually going to keep this in reverse because it feels like, that message of it being steadfast and reliable, it feels like that was how you felt about your intuition until very recently. And now you don't really know whether you can trust it anymore, or it's like your mind is just not speaking to you the way it usually does. So if that's an energy that resonates with you right now as you go into this reading, welcome, and you are not alone. I've been going through something similar. It's okay. We're going to get through this. But let's take a look at what gifts the universe has for you. So to start, we have the High Priestess in reverse. Well, and that's clarified by the King of Pentacles also in reverse. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that this inability to rely on your intuition might be a gift. Hear me out. So the High Priestess is someone who always looks inwards, who knows all the answers, who has all the answers because she trusts her intuition. She trusts the divine knowledge that flows through her. To have her in reverse, clarified by the King of Pentacles, also in reverse. The King of Pentacles is someone who is solid. He has conquered the material realm. He is fixed. He is earthy. He is grounded. He is immovable. You cannot shake the King of Pentacles. To have both of these energies in reverse tells me that the reason your intuitive gifts are not quite working the same way right now is purely because they became too rigid. You became too used to perceiving intuitive hints in the same way for too long. And as a result, it's like you blocked off aspects of your growth, your evolution as a soul. So the irony is, you may have come to this video hoping for relief from this stage. However, this is sort of a reboot that you're going through. And if you are someone who's at the end of a cycle with this world card here, it might be that in order to step into your new cycle, you need to approach it from a very different perspective. You need to be a very different person. You need to be able to see the world through a very different lens in order for you to really thrive in your next cycle. So the fact that it feels like your intuition is not working with you is because it is on standby mode right now, because it's being rewired. And as you come to the other side of it, you will realize that while you may have considered yourself prophetic or claircognizant, you might find moving forward that other gifts break for you, other psychic gifts break for you, other things come into your realm that allow you to have a more well-rounded sense of intuition, well-rounded sense of psychic ability. So it's kind of ironic that you feel lost because of the psychic gift, and the universe is like, oh, actually, that is the gift. You feeling lost is part of the gift. And it is frustrating, but sometimes we have to let go of what is familiar in order to welcome in what is meant for us, right? And that's what you're going through right now, Pile 1. Okay? What's this next gift? Or, what else? Apprentice of Cups in reverse, which is the Page of Cups in reverse. And that's clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so the Page of Cups usually talks about someone who is starting to learn about their emotions. They're starting to dive into the realm of the unknown, of the mystical, watery energies. It can also be a card that indicates fated events, soulmates, the thread of fate, that kind of thing. But it's in reverse, which means, What's getting me is that it is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles, which is a very stable, very grounded energy. This is someone who won't make a move unless they know exactly how something is going to pan out. So why is that clarified by the Knight of Pentacles? I'm just going to read the Apprentice of Cups from the book in reverse because I love this book, you guys. The guidebook that came with this deck, it is incredible. Are you feeling a creative or emotional block right now? There's something to be said for curiosity. Ask some questions instead of meeting your struggle with frustration. Think of this conversation as one you might have with your inner child. Be gentle and honest with yourself. Honor this vulnerability. So another gift that's coming for you right now is a more solid relationship with your inner child. And perhaps that's the cycle you're about to close out, is healing your inner child, which can take several years. It can take a whole lifetime for a lot of people. However, where in the past you may have sort of functioned from a place of wounding, you may have done what you do because of this inner child wound. Now, because you've spent so long healing this, spent so long working on yourself, now you're able to move forward with a lot more confidence. You're no longer stuck in this programming that brought you through to this point, right? So one gift that the universe is giving you is the ability to have this conversation with yourself where you're able to have a lot more empathy for your inner child. You're able to have a lot more gentleness, a lot more kindness for who you used to be, for where you come from. And as a result, you're able to give yourself more grace moving forward. And because you're able to do that, you're also able to figure out exactly what you're capable of and recognize where your strengths lie, where your weaknesses might be, where you need to do more work before you even set off on a path. Does that make sense? That is beautiful. So really, the gifts that the universe is bringing you right now is massive upgrades, Pile 1. Massive upgrades. It's not just that you're learning a new psychic gift or you're learning a new trick or whatever. What's happening is you are being rewired from the inside out. And it's not just in the sense of, psychic gifts, but also personality traits. Like, who you are, who you're becoming, is a much more confident version of the child that you used to be. And you may be very young, you may be just stepping into adulthood, but whatever it is, that cycle that's ended has taught you a lot about self-confidence, about self-worth, about how you see the earthly and the other realms, and also learning how to rely on your intuition without becoming too attached to it. So that's kind of what's changing for you, and it may not feel like a gift right now because you feel so blocked. However, trust me, it is very much a gift for you. Okay, so let's now take a look at how you might go about accepting this gift into your life. What sort of energy can you embrace in order to bring this in quicker? To start, we have death. Okay, I'm not surprised at all. And that's clarified by the Hermit in reverse. Major Arcana galore. So, death, yeah, allow this ending to happen. But more importantly, don't just see it as an ending of a cycle and you just become a whole new person and you start over moving forward. It's more that this is a transformation. It's not that who you were is going to be vastly different from who you become as you go through this transformation. It's more that who you were feeds who you are about to be, but it's not the same font. So imagine writing a word in like two very different fonts. Like the first one is your standard, Helvetica, and the other one is like Jokerman, right? So vastly different fonts, same word. So the point is, through this process of death and transformation, you're not becoming a different person, you're becoming a more evolved version of yourself. And when you embrace, okay. So, sorry, I just had like a massive brainwave. So, with this Hermit in reverse, the Hermit upright is about going inwards, about retreating from the world in order to understand it. The Hermit in reverse is encouraging you to understand the world at face value. Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to overanalyze it, if that makes sense. See the world for what it is, and then just move through it, trusting that what you see is real. So you might be someone who internalizes things a lot in order to process them, and you may rely on your intuition a lot in order to read between the lines. And right now, you're being called to put that aside for a moment and really just focus on seeing everything at face value, not reading into things too much, and moving in a very practical way, if that makes sense. But how do you embrace this gift is to see this transformation as not you becoming someone else, but you becoming more you. Does that make sense? So the energy you need to embody in order to bring this transformation in is not the energy of your ideal self or a successful version of you or the version of you that has it all figured out. No. The energy you want to embody is the version of you that is the most you. Like if you distilled yourself into a little bottle, a little like perfume bottle with a little stopper, what would that bottle contain? That's what you want to embody, right? It's kind of an abstract thing to think about. Okay. Let's just do another clarifier for this. What energy? The Queen of Swords in reverse and The Three of Wands. Okay, yeah. Another thing to make sure you keep in mind is to give yourself empathy, is to not be too harsh on yourself, because with this Queen of Swords in reverse, it's like the Queen of Swords upright can be someone who doesn't mince words, right? Who can be a little cutthroat, and she doesn't mess around, but she's also very intuitive, and the thoughts come to her, the understanding comes to her like lightning, right? Whereas the Three of Wands is the energy of looking out into the world, of looking at the past and the future to kind of create a projection of where you want to go. It's about dreaming big, right? And so with all of these cards together, how do you embrace these gifts is by looking out into the world and accepting it for what it is. And that will teach you to accept yourself for who you are, instead of hoping for this grand transformation before you can love yourself, right? So, oh, strange. I just thought of 13 going on 30. It's probably because I saw 13 here. But you know that movie? I haven't thought of it in a while. But it's like she goes back in time to her child self. And it's been ages since I've watched that movie. She goes back in time to her child self, and she sort of gets a do-over, but then she realizes that who she became as a grown-up was just, I don't know. I forget the whole premise of the movie. It might be significant to you, but there's a lot of like child self and grown-up self talk going on in my head right now. I'm like dealing with so much brain fog right now, you guys. I'm so sorry. But in either case, the point is you're being called to not see your future self and your past self and your present self as three separate entities. These are different versions of who you are. And if you want to embrace an idealized version of yourself, that version doesn't exist as something separate from you. It is you, just in a different context. So if you're going to wait for that context to change in order to love yourself, in order to accept yourself, that context is going to come and you'll still hate yourself. You still won't accept yourself. So the best way to go about it is to give yourself grace for who you are today, right now. Even with all this brain fog, even when your intuition isn't working out for you right now. Allow it. Love yourself anyway, because self-love is not about accepting, all the great things that are great about you, but it's also about loving yourself through the stuff that you don't like about yourself. And that's what most of us forget. We focus so much of our self-worth journey on where we need to improve. We forget to spend any time gushing about what we do really well, right? So anyway, that was a lot. Let's take a look at something you might want to avoid, an energy to avoid that may block these gifts from coming in. We have the Five of Cups in reverse, clarified by the Moon. The Five of Cups in reverse talks about... So the Five of Cups upright is about crying over spilt milk when you still have two cups that are standing, right? It's about being unable to recognize the blessings you still have. So in reverse, but then it's clarified by the moon. So you might block these blessings if you don't get clarity on the things that are working in your favor. And I think that goes back to this message as well of not only wanting to accept the perfect version of you, but also accepting the version of you that you are today, loving the version of you that you are today, celebrating who you are today, right now, as you watch this. You may be in your sweatpants or your pajamas, in bed, eating a snack, watching this. And this version of you is incredible. And the more you drive away this version of yourself, the current version of yourself, the worse it's going to be in terms of cultivating self-love. Because self-love is not conditional. It cannot be conditional, because then it's not love. It is simply expectations, right? So unless you gain clarity on the parts of yourself right now that are so wonderful, the things in your life right now that are working so, so well for you, the things that you have done and achieved, no matter how big or small, that are incredible right now, unless you're able to go through that and gain clarity on that, you're not going to be able to see this transformation through. That's what you need in order to complete the cycle, is radical self-acceptance, even when who you are right now is not socially acceptable. Does that make sense, Part 1? So next, let's take a look at who you become once you've accepted this gift into your life. We have the Lovers in reverse, okay? And that's clarified by the star. Beautiful. Who you become is no longer someone who relies on external approval. You find optimism and excitement and happiness within yourself. You don't need someone to illuminate you. You don't need someone to see you, because you are the star. You are the source of light. And what's interesting is you're going from that moon energy into star. Moons are not an inherent source of light. They reflect the light, and it's beautiful. I love our moon. However, that is reflected light. The star, any star in the sky, is creating its own source of light, its own source of energy. It is shifting entire worlds simply by existing. And that's the energy you're about to step into, where you're no longer reflecting light from someone else or expecting someone to reflect light at you in order for you to feel seen and nurtured and taken care of. You're stepping into an era of enlightenment that comes from within. And the archetype is Eros. I think it's supposed to be like this. Okay. So I'm going to skim this from the book as well. Eros. Okay. Love as desire, eroticism, sensuality. Though Eros can be depicted as unbridled sexuality and eroticism, a more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of desire itself. What do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? era, you may find yourself swirling in a new territory of desire and sensuality. Explore the labyrinth with a curious and honest heart. And remember, though the way is circuitous, you are always being led towards its center. Passion, playfulness, projection, obsession. So I do think who you become once these gifts come in, once you embrace them entirely, is a more impassioned version of yourself, a more playful, a more distilled, intense version of who you are, which is the goal from day one. This person does not care what people think about them. They are simply here to have the best time they possibly can. And it's a very happy-go-lucky energy. It's very much someone who follows every whim, not in like a destructive way, but in like a, I'm going to nurture my inner child and nurture all my desires because I can and because I want to. It's a beautiful, empowered energy. Part one, that's who you are becoming as you see the cycle through to the end. And more importantly, you might embrace aspects of yourself that you didn't even consider before now or before that point, where you might be someone who doesn't necessarily enjoy the earthly realm or like earthly delights in any context, food, clothing, jewelry, makeup, perfumes, that kind of thing, very earthy, like luxurious stuff. You may be someone who currently shuns all of these things, doesn't really have much of an interest in any of it. And then as you go through this transformation, as you start to ground your energy, as you start to come down from always being in the intuitive realms, as you start to come down to the earth again, because I do see a lot of grounding happening through this process, you actually start to enjoy the delights of the earth. You start to really love being a person, being a human being on this planet right now. And that is always so beautiful to see. It's like you're finding a balance between the heaven and the earth. And I do feel like a heart opening, like a heart chakra opening. And I feel like that's going to really bring you a lot of abundance, a lot of happiness, a lot of love and excitement in your life. And it's so beautiful to see. Okay, so finally, let's take a look at some advice that the universe has for you, either to carry you through the holiday season or just in general. We'll see what comes up. We have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. This is definitely a time for rest. Part one, this is a time for you to step away from anything that no longer serves you. Of course, you should always be doing that. But also step away from anything that feels chaotic right now. It doesn't mean it will be chaotic forever. But if right now, with your energy being so low and so scattered and exhausted, it is okay to step away from routine and take some time to just ground your energy, to just swim in your own aura, if that makes sense, in the sense of, not having to have your energy muddled with other people's. I don't know if you feel that. Sometimes I do a lot, where if I'm around people a lot, it feels like my energy field is kind of scattered and sort of sizzling a little bit because of other people's energies touching mine. And I have a huge need for personal space. So you might be someone who has this as well. And this is me telling you it's okay to step away for a few days, recollect yourself, and, you can come back when you're ready. That's okay. And finally, we have the rabbit spirit in reverse. Now is a lucky time. I'm going to read this from the book. This is number 49. Okay. Vulnerability is required of you now, even if you don't feel safe. Act as if you trust that you will be okay, and soon you will see that you are okay. To create is to take risks, so at this fortunate, fertile time, banish your fears and recognize the real security is in immersing yourself in the process of co-creation. Yeah, there's a lot of messages of creativity as well with this Page of Cups here as well. You might be feeling creatively depleted. Maybe now is a time to not so much create outwards, outside of yourself, but more create internally. So maybe this is a time where you retreat and come up with ideas instead of turning those ideas into an art project of some sort. Does that make sense, Power One? So, yeah, a big change coming your way very soon. Very exciting. But the key here is to embrace who you are right now, changing nothing about yourself in order to be worthy of love. Okay? So that's your message for today, Power One. I really hope it helped and it resonated. If it did, please do remember to like and subscribe. Comment below how this applies to you, because I'm always curious to know. If you like what I do, you can tip me at my PayPal tip jar. Link is in the video description. Or you can email me for a personal reading. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me today and letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season ahead. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Pile number 2, hello. So if you guys chose the clear quartz tower, then this is your reading. Welcome. So today we're taking a look at a gift that the universe has for you this holiday season, because it is the season of gift giving. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. These cards here will tell us what energy you're in right now as you go into this reading, as in the energy that you're in before this gift comes in. This is a great way to make sure that you've got the right pile, because it should resonate with where you're at right now. These cards here will give us a look at what this gift is that the universe is bringing you. It could be one gift, it could be multiple. We'll see. These cards here will tell us how you can embrace this gift, how you can bring it into your life quicker and more efficiently. And these cards will give us a look at some energies that might block this, so things to avoid in order to make sure that this gift comes in. And then finally, we'll take a look at who you become as this gift becomes integrated into your life. And then finally, we'll take a look at some advice for you, either for the holiday season or just in general. So without much further ado, let's dive in. I should say, when I was shuffling your cards, I did feel a little bit of anxiety, but also the cards felt very subtle, like the messages, as in the way the cards were coming out, felt quite quiet. So it could be that you're going through like a little subsurface anxiety, if that makes sense. Like you feel anxious, but it's not all out panic, but it's like an undercurrent. Just something I thought I'd mention. So anyway, what energy are you in right now before this gift comes in? To start, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. Yeah, it's a feeling of like restlessness. And that's clarified by the Empress. Okay. So it might be that you're sort of being forced into a receptive energy where it's like you can't make any moves. It's like whatever is happening is sort of out of your hand. Like, you know, there's an outcome that you want, but you might be someone who's used to making things happen, used to going out there and doing it for yourself. And you're currently in a situation where this is taken out of your hands. It's like you cannot make this happen. It will happen in its own time. And that might be very frustrating. It might be very stressful for you. You might be used to being in control a lot. And somehow right now, it's like no matter what you do, you cannot control the situation. You cannot control the outcome. And that's very frustrating. For your archetype that you're embodying right now, we have Thanatos. It might be upside down. I'm not necessarily reading reversals for this, but we'll see either way. So this is number 73. Okay. Death. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be so easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. Grieving, mourning, bearing witness to all that is, fear or insensitivity to old age, illness, the dying. Okay, so yeah, it could very well be that you've had like a brush with death in some form. It could be like a literal death, in which case I am so sorry for your loss. But it could also be a figurative death, in that the end of an era, the end of a cycle, the end of a way of life for you. And it feels like you simply cannot control the outcome. And all you can do is sit down and wait for this to wash over you. All you have to do is, all you can do really, is sit back and let nature take its course. And that might be very frustrating for you. So if that's an energy that resonates with you right now, let's go ahead and see what gifts the universe has for you. So to start, we have the 9 of Wands. And that's clarified by the Tower. Okay, yeah. There is really like a massive, massive transformation coming for you. A pretty big ending. And but the key here, the gift here, is this 9 of Wands card. It can feel like a lot, like a huge burden. However, the 9 of Wands generally talks about you have everything you need in order to see this through. You have the strength to undergo this transformation. You have the capacity, you have the power to survive this and to reach the other side of this Tower moment. Because with Tower, like, everyone is terrified of the Tower card. However, the Tower only falls if it's built on shaky foundation. So whatever transformation is happening was inevitable, because it's not built on solid ground. Like, this was going to fall either way. And it's not because of anything that's happened. It's not because of, someone said or did something. This was always going to happen. It's like the moment, whatever the situation is, the moment you started was the moment it was destined to end. So say, for instance, this is about a relationship. This could be a relationship that started very superficial, right? It started very casual and, very, maybe like the beginning was very toxic. I don't know. Two people, betrayed their partners and then got together, and that was the beginning of the relationship. That's an example. It doesn't have to be your situation, but it's an example of how something that begins is often destined to end the second it begins, because it's built on shaky ground, right? So whatever the situation is, it was always going to end. But the blessing here is you're recognizing that you have the strength and the ability to see this through. You have the strength to survive this massive, massive change in your life with this 9 of Wands. You have the passion, the drive, the courage, and the creativity. That's what the suit of Wands is all about, is that fire inside you that keeps your soul warm, that keeps you going every single day. That's what's going to see you through this transformation. And even with this Empress card here, like the Empress doesn't need anyone. She is abundant, she's self-sufficient, and she is steady and stable. This is that Taurus energy. So you don't need anything that you don't already have in order to not only survive this transformation, but to thrive on the other side of it. Next, we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. And that's clarified by the 3 of Wands. Lots of fire, 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 fire. Lots of fire energy. The 5 of Wands in reverse clarified by the 3 of Wands. If there's any conflict that's causing this, that conflict is coming to an end. You're able to look at a much more exciting, much more inviting future moving ahead, Pile 2. The 5 of Wands is the card of conflict. It is 5 people fighting to have one extra wand, right? It's like they're not happy with just the ones that they have. They want more. And so you might be dealing with a situation like that where someone is just being greedy or being selfish, self-centered, whatever. That's coming to an end because this is in reverse. And for it to be clarified by the 3 of Wands, which is the card of looking forward, looking out into the distance, making plans for the future, being excited to see what life has to offer next. It's like you're gaining closure. That's the gift here, is you recognizing that as you work through this situation, not only do you have what it takes to see it through, you are also capable of creating so much more for yourself as you look forward past the situation. It really feels like you're coming out of like a toxic relationship or, I don't know, a toxic home, a toxic work environment, something that's been depleting your spirit. But it is being taken away from you, and you may not have wanted that change necessarily because you got so familiar and comfortable with it. However, it was never meant to last. When you first stepped into that situation was when it was destined that it would one day end. Like, that's when it was written. So the gift here isn't, the situation changing and you somehow managing to stay and be happy. The ending is coming, whether you like it or not. But the gift here, the blessing for you here from the universe, Pile 2, is the ability to recognize your own merit, your own strength, to recognize that this conflict won't go on forever, and also that you have such a beautiful, bright future out ahead of you, that the world is your oyster, the opportunities are endless, and you're really regaining a sense of optimism that you might have been missing for a very, very long time, Pile 2. So that is always so beautiful to see. So now let's look at how you can embrace this gift, how you can accept it, invite it into your life. We have the 8 of Wands in reverse. And that's clarified by the 7 of Coins. The way you can embrace this gift is to stop running, is to slow down and really invest in yourself right now. The Eight of Wands is usually a card of really fast movement, of, in this case, the geese migrating. They're not just going fast, but they're also going very far. So what's interesting is you might want to, if this transformation is happening, it's like you might feel the need to rush through it. However, the advice here isn't to try and get through it at any cost. No, you want to sit down and think about your next steps. You want to invest the time and energy and resources that it takes in order to make sure that you are taken care of once this ending happens. Right now is not the time to run around frantically trying to get rid of whatever the situation is. Right now is the time to sit back and think about the practical needs that you will have once this ending is finalized. So say now you're getting out of a toxic home life. Right now, instead of trying to just focus on running away, your priority needs to be also to figure out, well, obviously if it's like a really dangerous situation, get out as soon as possible. But mostly consider what your life will be like once you are through with this. What will you need? What will you need to invest in moving forward so that you can survive without whatever this gave to you? So say if it's a relationship, for instance, once this person is no longer in your life, what did they do for you that you now have to do for yourself? How did they support your existence? And how can you support yourself like that now, moving forward, when this person is no longer in your life? It's not about running away and moving on to the next one. You're really being called to invest time, effort, energy, all of that good stuff into nurturing yourself and really building a solid foundation. That's the other key, is like the next time you venture out into something like this, the next time you build a home, you have a partner, you build a family, you get a job, how can you lay a solid foundation and really take your time to fully understand the situation before you dive right in? Because that's how you show respect to yourself, Paltu. You deserve the slowing down. You deserve the time it takes to really understand a situation before you dive in headfirst. It might be that you're being called to invest in things that help you improve your self-worth. So it could be courses, it could be therapy, counseling, healing, something, anything that will help you recognize that you are worth taking the time for. Because that's how you build a solid foundation that cannot just be shaken off like this tower falling over. What might hinder this gift from coming in? What energies might block it? So what do you need to avoid, essentially? We have the Two of Swords in reverse. And that's clarified by the Five of Swords. Yeah. The energy you need to avoid is, number one, when you don't listen to your intuition. The Two of Swords upright is about someone who has to make a choice, but they blindfold themselves so that they're not affected by external circumstances, and so they can only really listen to their inner voice, which they know would guide them correctly. To have that in reverse tells me that the moment you stop listening to your intuition and start listening to external guidance is when this blessing goes away, is when you stay stuck in your current situation, in the situation that is depleting you. So you very much want to avoid sort of internalizing comments from people who may not have your best interests at heart. You really want to take the time to tune into your intuition. And the other thing is conflict, right? The Five of Swords is all about conflict, just like the Five of Wands, except this is more a conflict of the mind. So when that is clarifying the Two of Swords, it's a clear message that external influences would put you in a conflicted state of mind. And as a result, when you don't have that clarity, you cannot work through this situation where, you really need to calmly think about every possible outcome in order to have the easiest transition out of this situation, right? Because it feels like this is something big. It's not just something you can walk away from just immediately, just willy-nilly. As you move forward, you want to do so strategically. And if you allow external influences to have a say in it, it is going to create a lot of mental conflict, and you won't know what you want anymore. And that can be very challenging. The situation is plenty challenging without also inviting other people's opinions, no matter how well-meaning it may be. No one is going to see your situation through your lens because they are not you. And so definitely make sure you tune into yourself, see what you need, and put that first before anyone or anything else. Because you are the only person whose opinion really matters. You are the only person whose safety, security really matters in the situation. Okay? So finally, let's take a look at who you are becoming once this gift is integrated into your life. Oh, beautiful. We have the sun. Oh, you love to see it. And that is clarified by the Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay, interesting. So the sun is all about joy, optimism, creativity, happiness. Just the sun is shining, everyone's happy, and that's who you are. But with the Eight of Cups in reverse, that's what is stumping me. Because the Eight of Cups upright is someone who realizes that what they have is not good enough for them, and so they're walking away from it. It's 8 full cups, but it's not 8 cups of stuff that I want. So I'm walking away from it. So to have that in reverse is about not walking away from a situation. Let's get some clarifiers. So why is this Eight of Cups in reverse? Ooh, okay, we've got a bunch of cards. The Three of Swords, the Five of Coins in reverse, and the Page of Wands. Three of Swords is heartbreak. The Five of Coins in reverse is no longer being left out in the cold. And the Page of Wands is about following your passion. Okay. You're recognizing the nuance of, because I walked away from this situation does not mean I have to walk away from everything here that made me happy. Okay, so you might be a very black and white sort of person where you're like, if I cut ties with someone, I cut ties with everything about them and everything about that situation, even the bits that made me happy, right? And as you work through this transformation, you're becoming a person who keeps the happy moments and lets go of everything else. So you don't have to walk away from every single thing. You let go of the heartbreak, but that doesn't mean you, what's that saying? Cut your nose to spite your face, right? You don't give up on the things that do make you happy just to spite someone. You don't give up on things that do make you happy just because, it reminds you of this situation, right? You're able to find a balance. You're able to find a nuance in the situation. And that's what brings you happiness. That's what brings you clarity. It's not about wanting to get revenge on whatever the situation is. It's about really moving on in a healthy, happy way, in a way that is conducive to a better, happier version of yourself. The archetype you'll be embodying is the mirror. Interesting. So this is number 68. Let's see what the book says about the mirror. Okay. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mythic land of Narcissus, who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down, stop with the comparisons, and let the mirror stand empty for a while. Rest with the one inside, witnessing the deeper self, pure awareness. Yes, you're becoming much more aware of your inner self, your inner beauty, and also you're starting to recognize that what you see in the mirror is very much a culmination of things that you've been taught to see. And so it's like you're seeing yourself through a whole different lens moving forward, Pal 2. It's like in the past, you may have seen a reflection of yourself in the mirror and only really seen flaws. Whereas this version of you who has undergone this transformation is recognizing the beauty in yourself. You're recognizing the power in yourself, the power in the image that looks back at you. And yeah, it's like you're seeing parts of yourself that you've never seen before. You're seeing details in your being that you had never recognized before. Perhaps because your vision was quite clouded by the situation. I feel a sense of freedom in who you are becoming as you go through this transformation. A sense of self-awareness, self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance. And it's an unshakable foundation. And that's the key here, is this transformation is not just something that will go away someday. It is a permanent change. And that's where the power lies in the situation. Now, that's not to say it's going to be, perfect when you become this version of yourself, when you are transformed. But you're getting to a place within yourself, Pal 2, where you're recognizing that any perceived flaws are just that, perception, right? They don't have to ring true. They don't have to be the absolute truth. They are simply a subjective emotion you're having in that moment based on the kind of day you've had, the kind of week you've had, whatever, right? It doesn't mean that what you see as an imperfection is actual imperfection. It is simply a reflection of how you're feeling in that moment. So yeah, there's a lot of self-image work going on. I love to see that. So finally, let's take a look at some advice for you from the universe. To start, we have the Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. And Starseed, what lights you up? Beautiful. You might be going really deep into your spiritual practices as you work through this transformation, Pal 2. You might find that you're trying out different things, looking at different schools of thought, learning stuff about yourself. There's a lot of inner work going on. You might find that you feel connected to, star seeds and stuff, but more importantly, you're focusing on what lights you up, what makes you happy. That's where your priority is shifting to. And that is so, so important, because it feels like in your situation so far, you've kind of ignored that most important bit of existence, is what makes you happy, what sets your soul on fire. And so now you're able to really take that time and really take that energy and put it into yourself and put it into learning about yourself, right? Let's just quickly read the Swan Spirit from the book. So this is number 60. With their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When Swan Spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is self-knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Asking the deeper questions of yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. Yeah, there is very much a lot of self-exploration, self-discovery, like we just saw. So it's a very sort of inner journey-ish time coming up for you, part 2. I'm very excited for you, because it is the most important journey you'll ever take. All right, so that's your reading for today. I really hope it helped. Let me know in the comments how it resonated, because I'm always curious to hear about how these readings work for you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and spending some time and sharing your energy with me. I truly hope it helped. If this video resonated, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out so, so much. If you like what I do and would like to support my work, you can check out my PayPal tip jar. You can leave me a tip on there. Link is in the video description. Or you can email me for a private reading. The link to that is also in the video description. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. You can stick around to the end for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Tile number 3, hello. So if you guys chose the Lapis Lazuli Tower, wow, these cards are crazy. If you guys chose the Lapis Lazuli Tower, then this is your reading. Welcome. So today we're taking a look at some gifts, bracket S, that the universe might have for you this holiday season. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. These cards here will tell us the energy you're in before this gift comes in. So this could be where you are right now as you're watching this reading. And it's a great way to confirm that you've picked the right pile today. But these cards here will take a look at what gifts the universe is bringing in for you this holiday season. Here, these cards here will tell us what energy you might want to embrace in order to bring these gifts in quicker, as opposed to these cards here, which will tell us what energies might block these gifts from coming in. So stuff you want to avoid, basically. And then finally, we'll take a look at what energy you're in once this gift is completely integrated into your life. And then finally, we'll take a look at some advice for you from the universe, either for the holidays or just in general. So let's dive right in. What energy are you in before these gifts come in, pile 3? We have the Tower in reverse, and that's clarified by the 7 of Cups. Oh, that is an annoying bike. Okay, the Tower in reverse clarified by the 7 of Cups. There's an ending here that you're avoiding making happen, right? The Tower in reverse is about an ending that needs to happen because the tower is built on shaky ground and it needs to fall. But for some reason, you're kind of living in an illusion of this being okay. The 7 of Cups is all about illusions, and more importantly, it's about, each of these cups could have something in it. You don't know what it is until you look in it, but it's like you're not wanting to look inside the cup to see what it is, because that would destroy the potential of it, right? Say I give you a bag and you don't know what's in it, and in your mind you're like, oh, it could be a new pair of shoes, or it could be a diamond ring, or it could be a PS5. But like with the Schrodinger's experiment, it's like you don't know what's in it until you look, but then looking would make it final, right? And so it's like you know that something isn't working for you right now, Palfrey, but you're afraid to look at it with a realistic lens, because then that would make it real, because then that would mean that you have to create a change. And deep down, you already know that change is necessary, but it's like you're operating under the illusion of, if I just don't look at it, it'll go away. The archetype is the gem. Now, this was in reverse, so we'll just keep that in mind, okay? So this is number 56, and I'm just going to read this from the from the book, because I love these archetype cards. Okay, the gem, the diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. Isn't that crazy? I just mentioned a diamond. There are infinite names for the gem. It is known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly, deep in the earth amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface where there is no definitive map. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. Unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. When dark, envy, greed, grasping. That grasping, it's like you're grasping for any reason to stay in your current situation. But it's like, what you really want is not the current situation. You want to know for sure that it will be okay when you do take that leap of faith. That's what you really want, Pal 3. Is to know that once you go digging, that you will eventually find that gem. And you will, it's inevitable. But that might be the energy you're in right now. So if that resonates, hi, welcome. So let's take a look at the gifts that the universe has for you this holiday season. We have the Apprentice of Wands in reverse, which is the Page of Wands in reverse. And that's clarified by the Magician, also in reverse. Interesting. The Page of Wands is someone who is just starting out on that journey of following their passion, of following a creative venture. So I'm just going to read the reversal from the book for the Apprentice of Wands, because you guys, if you've been on this channel for a couple of videos now, you know I love this book. Okay, the Apprentice of Wands in reverse. Something is getting in the way of your self-expression. If you sense something in your life may be withholding or deceitful, this reversal asks you to trust your instinct. To doubt your intuitive power is to bottle your entire self. Trust your inner knowledge. Ooh, I need to sneeze. Oh, I'm sorry, Pal 3. That came out of nowhere. Okay, so what's coming in for you is very much clarity, but also it is, okay, with the Magician in reverse, it is the understanding of you don't have to force things to happen in order to be happy. So in the situation you're currently in, be this a job, a relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic, whatever it is, you might find that you almost have to force things to work smoothly. It's like if you don't do 1,000,000 hours of labor, this thing is just not going to work. And the gift that's coming in for you is the ability to really just be brave and allow yourself to really ask important questions such as, is this worth investing any further time and energy into, right? It is that sunken cost fallacy of this situation has gone on for so long that, stepping away from it now might seem stupid. However, if it is actively harming you, if it is actively keeping you down, forcing it to work out just because you've spent so much time and energy here already, that is the real waste of potential, right? That fire energy, that's also about potential, especially creative potential. So you might be really creative, even with all these colors here. I'm feeling like you may work in a creative field of some sort, pile 3. And the situation that you're currently in, the way you're looking at it right now, I won't be surprised if the Hanged Man card comes out, because it feels like there is a new perspective that is needed. And step 1 is to ask and answer the difficult questions. And so that's definitely something that you're finding the courage to do. Next, we have the Ace of Wands also in reverse. Yeah. And that's clarified by the 8 of Wands also in reverse. It feels counterintuitive because these are cards you want to see upright when it comes to, the universe is giving you a gift. However, the Ace of Wands, renewed passion. The 8 of Wands, fast movement. Both of these in reverse. It is a gift that you are losing passion. It is a gift that you are being forced to slow down right now, pile 3. And look, hear me out, okay? Sometimes when we are so excited about how quickly life is moving, how quickly things are working out for us, we can kind of get carried away in the romance of it all, the speed of it all, and it can keep us from really thinking about whether we feel fulfilled. Just because something is moving quickly does not mean it is making us happy, okay? So, say, for instance, someone realizes they have a real skill for archery. They have a real skill for archery. And this is the medieval times, and they could make lots and lots of money being an archer for hire, I guess. But they hate it. They hate shooting things. They hate killing animals. They hate hunting. However, it makes them a lot of money, and word quickly spreads about how they're like a sharpshooter. They're a good shot. And it's like, just because they are good at it doesn't mean it fulfills them. So in the same way, you might find that where you are right now, you're really, really good at what you do, but it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't fulfill you. And the gift, which may not seem like a gift at first, but it will eventually, the gift that's coming in is realization. It's like it's dawning on you. You're starting to realize that, hey, just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I have to stick to it. Doesn't mean I have to follow it. You might be multi-passionate, and you might feel this almost pressure to turn everything into a business. I'm like this, okay? By the way, I do all sorts of crazy things. I have so many hobbies, and a lot of the times I feel like I have to turn every single one of them into a business, because otherwise it's a waste. But it's not a waste if you're having a good time. It is only a waste if you are not having a good time. And it feels like that's what's happening to you where you are right now. It's like something that started out as, oh, I kind of enjoy it, and I guess it could, also bring me either revenue, or it could bring me security or comfort or something. Now you're recognizing that's not good enough. That's not a good enough reason for me to stay stuck in a situation that does not fulfill me. Right? And the gift here is the freedom to recognize this and to proclaim it, even if it is just to yourself, even if you are just telling yourself, hey, I'm not happy. There is, it almost feels like when someone is choking and then someone gives them the Heimlich and the stuff that was choking them comes out and then suddenly they can breathe again. It kind of feels like that, Pal 3. Like you've been choked for so long, and now suddenly when you admit to yourself this, when you find the courage and you admit to yourself that you need change, it's like you can breathe again. It's like a sense of freedom. And in order to get there, though, it's like you can't get there when things are going super well, when things are going super fast paced. You can't recognize that when things are going exactly how they are supposed to go, right? And so it completely makes sense that things have to slow down first, that you have to gradually lose the passion for it first. So if you feel like you've been losing passion for something for a while now, it's because this moment is about to hit you really, really hard, right? And I feel like I need to do a sequel to your reading because like I can hear you like, okay, well, if I give up on this, what do I do next? What could happen next? You know what? I haven't done this for any of the other piles, but I kind of want to do a little bit of extra. Okay. Let's take a look at, if you do admit this to yourself, what happens next? We'll kind of get into that a little bit. We have the 7 of Swords. Okay. We have, okay, the Page of Wands. I'm just going to take that one because there's too many cards. And the other cards that came out were the 3 of Swords and the 5 of Coins in reverse, but that came out from like the previous reading because they were all stacked together. The 7 of Swords and the Page of Wands. Oh, that's interesting because this is the Page of Wands in reverse. So the 7 of Swords is a sneaky energy coming to light. You're starting to recognize that once you admit to yourself that this is not where you want to be, you may recognize that it was maybe somewhere someone else pushed you to be. Someone else put you in that situation and then convinced you that there's no escape, right? Because that's the kind of like trickster, sneaky energy that the 7 of Swords talks about. But then with the Page of Wands here, it's like, once you recognize that, you're able to go full steam ahead, actually finding something to be passionate about, actually finding what you want to do, what will make you happy. And you might even find that you're not the kind of person who is made for a one and done career, a one and done life situation. You might find that you're a bit of a wanderer, you're a bit of a traveler, and that's okay as well. But whatever it is, it's about coming to terms with not just the truth about, you know, whether it was someone specific or society in general that put you in this situation, but also coming to terms with your truth about who you are outside of these expectations, outside of these labels, these boxes that you put yourself into. That's the real gift here, is recognizing that you didn't really know yourself well enough in order to limit yourself so strictly. Oh, it's a powerful shift, Pal 3. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can embrace this change, embrace these gifts in your life. We have Strength, beautiful. I love the imagery. Look at the little baby. And that's clarified by the Hanged Man. I told you. I told you I wouldn't be surprised if the Hanged Man showed up. Again, Major Arcana energy is pretty big. this situation pretty big. But how you can embrace this energy in your life is, first of all, recognizing that not all battles need to be fought. And I think that also applies to, like, not every passion needs to be turned into a career. Like, that feels like a battle that a lot of people fight. But the strength is about recognizing your power, but also recognizing your restraint. Understanding that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And just because you have the ability to do something, the ability to fight a fight, it doesn't mean every fight is worth fighting, right? And that's clarified by the Hanged Man, is new perspective. So whatever situation you're in, Pal 3, this is a call for you to look at things differently. It's like you're being called to step outside of yourself and look at the situation as if you were seeing a friend go through this, a sister, a brother, a cousin, someone you love, someone you care about, go through this. Would you expect them to stay stuck in the situation, knowing how much you love them, knowing how much you care about them? No. Well, then why do you expect yourself to stay stuck in the situation? It is, I mean, clearly it's because, we tend to love other people way more than we love ourselves. And that's okay. It is just part of everyone's journey to learn. However, now is a time for you to really embrace a new perspective on the entire situation. I'm also seeing this imagery of this lion and the cub, and I'm very much getting inner child vibes here, of like embracing your inner child and really recognizing the strength of it as well as your own current self strength. It's beautiful. Definitely do some inner child work, inner child healing, but also embracing a different way of looking at the situation might help you let go of it much easier, and also might help you recognize something that you really want in your life. But you can't attain a new life unless you let go of the old and allow it to create a vacuum that the universe can fill with something new and beautiful, right? So once you let go, it kind of opens up pathways in your mind that allow you to think beyond what you've limited yourself to. And that's where this new perspective comes in. If you were not who you currently are, if you weren't doing the things that you currently do, if you weren't in the situation, in the relationship, in the job that you're currently in, who would you be? How would that person think? Would that person stay in your situation if given the opportunity? These are questions that you want to start asking yourself. That's how this transformation happens. That's how you embrace these gifts that are coming for you. What are some energies that might hinder these gifts? What might block them? We have the Six of Pentacles. And that's clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Six of Pentacles, someone who gives and gives and gives without expecting in return. Someone who is very supportive. Someone who gives without receiving. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is, again, a feeling of trying to control the outcome. The wheel upright is, it just spins and it spins, and sometimes it lands upright, sometimes it lands upside down, but that's just the nature of it. To have it in reverse tells me that a lot of the times people see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and assume it just means bad fortune or bad luck, misfortune. But what it really means, at least to me, is a feeling of I have to control the outcome. The wheel won't spin for me. I have to be the one to decide everything. And for that to be clarifying, the Six of Pentacles in this position tells me that if you stick to this idea of having to do all the work, as we've seen here, if you stick to this idea of having to be the one who always gives and gives and gives, and having to be the one who always controls every outcome, has to prepare for every possible eventuality, and has to do all the work, you're only going to stick in the Seven of Cups illusion for longer and longer and longer, because you're convincing yourself that what you are going through is normal and is where you are meant to be. It's not, and you are not. But it's like, in order for this to feel like a normal, healthy place to be, you've had to almost put blinders on yourself, put your blindfolds on yourself, and have like an Eight of Swords moment of putting yourself in a cage of your own design. And that's not to say this is your fault that you're in the situation that you're in, not at all. However, it is within your control to step outside of it. And the longer you stay stuck in this energy of overgiving, of having to do all the work, the longer you're going to push away these gifts. They will come in regardless whenever you're ready. It's just about, are you ready? Right? And the sooner you can embrace this different perspective, the sooner you can bring this in. Okay? So let's look at who you become once you embrace these gifts and once they are integrated into your life. We have the Ace of Coins. Oh, I love to see that. A new financial beginning. This could very well be about your career, pile 3. And that is clarified by the Hierophant, the Taurus card. More abundance. But also, the Hierophant is about tradition, about sticking to dogma, how things are always done. And with the Ace of Coins here, it's you're becoming someone who does things so differently. Your new normal is so different to who you were or who you currently are. The person you become is foundationally different to who you are today. Who you are becoming is abundant, is someone who invests in themselves, who knows which arena they want to take strides in. I don't even know if that's English anymore. But also, it's like the Hierophant is all about living by the book. But with this Ace of Coins here, I'm almost getting the feeling of like you're rewriting the book, right? You're living by a book that doesn't exist yet, that you write. Yeah, I mean, you might literally write a book. I don't know. But it's like you're the Pope of your own cathedral. Does that make sense? It's like you worship yourself, you worship your freedom, you worship your abundance, because you recognize that that's what really matters. The archetype card here is the seed. Yes, infinite potential. That's what seeds are. All they need is a little water. And oh, do you see how this is like growing out of the soil? I mean, hey, you might become a gardener. I don't know. Which, if you do, please invite me to your garden. I love plants. But this is number 66. Wasn't this 56? Oh, that's like a whole 10 jump. Wow. Okay. 66, the seed. Let's have a look-see. Okay. Oh my goodness. There we go. Nope. That's 56. Wow. Okay, you guys, it's so late right now. I'm sorry. Okay, the seed, the beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning. Oh, that's that tower energy of like when this began, you knew it was going to end. Oh, that's wild. Okay, anyway. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. When light, generative, fertile, germinating, building. When dark, festering, stewing, dormant. So, yeah, it's like you're stepping into an infinite potential. You're stepping into the kind of ability that you've never even imagined up until this point. And you couldn't have imagined it until you had worked through this transformation. And, bear in mind, it is hard work, but it is important and necessary work in order to recognize your worth as a person, as a creator in this cosmos. But who you are becoming is someone who recognizes your worth, lives by completely new rules, and you know how and when to nurture yourself and how and when to grow. And you know exactly what is worth putting your energy into and what you can just let go of. Okay? Beautiful, Pile 3. So finally, let's take a look at some advice for you. We have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Okay, this whole reading could well be about a relationship with a mother figure, a parent, a grandparent, a sister, an aunt, someone who should have been nurturing you but hasn't or doesn't, but you still stick around out of a sense of obligation. And now the advice is to start mothering yourself, start nurturing yourself, giving yourself the love and support and care that you deserved from a maternal figure. And even if even if this has nothing to do with a mother figure or issues in that situation, you're just being called to nurture yourself right now. Because that's what will get you through to, finding this amount of courage to do this inner work. All right. And we have the peacock spirit. Let it shine. I love that. Oh, beautiful. So I'm going to read that one from the book as well. This is number 46. Peacock spirit. When is the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression, and you are called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are, for you are a manifestation of spirit. Come out from the shadows, Peacock Spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own exquisiteness. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being right here, right now. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. Oh my goodness, you're really coming into your own, Pearl 3. You're really coming into your power, and when you do, the advice is very much to talk about it, to share it, to boast about it, because that's how you inspire everyone in this world to embrace their own power, to embrace their own gifts and their own creativity. All right. So Beautiful. That's your reading for today, Pal 3. I truly hope it resonated. Let me know in the comments how it did. And if you did enjoy this video, if it brought you some support and clarity, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out so much. If you like what I do and would like to support me, then you can leave me a tip on my PayPal tip jar. Link is in the video description. Or you can email me for a private reading. Link to that is also in the video description, and we can talk about it there. But that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, for sharing your time and energy with me and allowing me to read for you, Pal 3. I truly hope it helped and I brought you some clarity and some answers that you were looking for. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!